Holy shit, guys. I know every single year the sentiment goes around that Call of Duty is dead. Nobody cares about Call of Duty anymore. Call of Duty is dying. But the truth is, every single year, that's usually a small minority of people that say that, and the game does okay, even if it is a low quality game. But this year, I genuinely think nobody gives a fuck about Call of Duty. Like, I've never seen such little interest in a Call of Duty game than Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Dude, nobody cares. The only reason I care is because I'm making a video making fun of how bad it's doing. For Call of Duty, this launch has been catastrophic. Now, we're gonna go through an article by PC Gamer, and PC Gamer actually spits some facts for once in their life, so let's go ahead and get into that. Black Ops 7's launch day Steam player count is significantly lower than last year's Call of Duty, suggesting Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6 ate a hefty portion of its lunch. I'm glad they bring up Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6 because I'm someone who has put a lot of time into Battlefield 6, and I am a longtime Call of Duty fan. I've been playing since Black Ops 1. And even I, as someone who growing up always preferred Call of Duty over Battlefield, I'm sticking with Battlefield because I genuinely think it's just a better fucking game. And I have tons of friends who are longtime Call of Duty fans, and even they say they don't give a fuck about Black Ops 7 and are willing to move over to Battlefield because it offers them a better experience. It turns out you can't just release garbage and expect people to show up because it has the Call of Duty name on it. You may have gotten away with that for the past few releases, but people are starting to realize that Call of Duty just isn't worth a fuck anymore, and people aren't interested unless Call of Duty actually goes back to its roots, like Battlefield 6 did. It's almost like staying true to where the series started and making games that the fans ask for actually provides pretty good results. As for Arc Raiders, I have heard really good things about it. It's another shooter game, but it's an extraction shooter, and I have extraction shooter fatigue, so I'm not personally gonna play it. But man, 3 times lower than Black Ops 6? That's brutal. Anyway, let's continue. COD fatigue may finally be taking its toll. I don't think it's really COD fatigue, because if they released a Call of Duty game like the older Call of Duty games, I guarantee people would line up to play it immediately. Like if they made another Black Ops 1 style game, promised not to add these stupid cringy anime bundles, get rid of these stupid celebrity appearances and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bundles, toned down the SBMM and had light SBMM, or just did lobby balancing like they used to do, I guarantee people would show up for it. People don't have fatigue of COD, I don't feel like. I feel like they have a fatigue of what COD has become. Also, given that Black Ops 6 wasn't very good in the eyes of the players, I don't really think many people are excited to play a direct sequel to it. Just saying. If you just got done eating a plate of dog shit, you probably wouldn't want more dog shit. It's Call of Duty launch day, the yearly festival in which millions of eager revelers are presented with a fresh crop of maps, weapons, and kill streaks to enjoy as they slide, wall hop, and twitch their way through combat in a pseudo-narcotic mania. This year's paramilitary bacchanal, however, seems a more muted celebration. On Steam, Black Ops 7 is drawing Call of Duty's lowest launch day player count since the series made its return to the Valve storefront in 2022. That's fucking horrible, man. At least that game had an excuse to be a little bit lower because so many people were already accustomed to the Battle.net launcher because COD was stuck there for so long. But what excuse does this game have? Oh yeah, it's bad, nobody wants to buy it. But even that game still had a concurrent player count of over 250,000. I'll go get the exact number right now for you guys. Now, this paragraph right here is taken from an article that compares compares MW 2022's launch peak concurrent player count to MW 2023's, but we're just going to read out the first part of it because I don't care to talk about MW 2023 here. It launched with a peak player count of 238,000, so almost 240,000, and then it climbed over the weekend to 263,000. So yeah, like I said, 250,000. According to SteamDB, which uses public data from the Steam API, there are 81,000 users playing Call of Duty on Steam at the time of writing, well below the player counts of Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6, which are currently drawing around 370,000 and 236,000 simultaneous players, respectively. This does place Call of Duty in the top 10 of most played games on Steam, but in comparison, when a similar amount of time had passed since Black Ops 6's midnight launch in 2024, Call of Duty was being played by almost 230,000 players on Steam. And you can see here they put a picture of the SteamDB player count. In other words, Black Ops 7 is generating roughly 1/3 of the launch day interest on Steam that Call of Duty had mustered last year. Steam concurrent player counts admittedly only provide an incomplete picture of Call of Duty player activity. Yeah, that's what the COD fanboys are definitely going to try to cling to. Oh, well, it's only Steam. Well, it's the only numbers we fucking have because Call of Duty doesn't publish their player numbers anymore. Users playing Black Ops 7 via a Game Pass subscription, for example, wouldn't be represented in those numbers, but even if we're limiting our scope to Steam activity, it's a stark decline. This isn't exactly a surprise. For months, it's been clear that Call of Duty was facing its unfriendliest market in recent memory, as players voiced growing fatigue with COD's yearly churn and gradual Fortnitification. Battlefield 6 made a compelling pitch as a military shooter alternative, and barely 2 weeks before the Black Ops 7 launch, Arc Raiders emerged as an unexpected multiplayer phenomenon, where it usually enters the holiday season with competing games going out of their way to create distance from it on the calendar. COD is facing a crowded field at the exact moment its footing seems shakiest. Call of Duty launches, and indeed Steam launches in general, typically see their peak player counts on the weekend, so we can probably expect to see Black Ops 7 gain some momentum, but while we're probably not witnessing the real-time collapse of one of gaming's biggest franchises, the glimpses I've seen of BO7's boss fight against giant guys in Paschetti Dimension don't exactly inspire confidence. Yeah, no shit. I just looked up what that means, and yeah, that boss fight looks terrible. Yeah, that's pretty much it from the article, but I've seen a ton of other articles going around on the internet saying the game has AI slop in it, and the game just isn't very good. Mix that with the low player counts, and I think COD is really in trouble, man. I think they need to get their shit together. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up here. This game seems like it's in hot water, and it really needs to either pull itself out of the situation it's in, or they really need to lock the fuck in for the next Call of Duty game and actually make something that people are going to like. Speaking of liking things, if you could like the video, that would be appreciated. If you didn't like the video, you can leave a dislike and a mean comment, and I'm out.